Hello everybody, I'm the Wasteland Viking and welcome to Call of Cthulhu. This is a game that I've been meaning to play for a while. At this point I've had it for, a little bit. I've been wanting to play it, but I wanted to finish up that Dagon game first. Anyway, let's enter into madness a bit. So, I've played this game before, I've beaten it. There are many different routes that you can actually go as far as the ending and stuff like that. Well, it's more like there are potentially 4 endings. I would like to try to get all of them, so that'll probably require multiple replays. I'm not going to be doing them back to back to back because then it gets boring, especially for me and whatnot. So it's going to be fun to do, but there are a few other games like this that are still on my list that I want to check off and whatnot. So we'll probably be doing more of those in between different playthroughs, but that's sort of what I want to do with this. A lot of it is choice-based. It is that I know of. It feels random, but there's actually a progressive choices to get to an end, pretty much. That's the idea for all of this and whatnot. And there are a couple parts that are frustrating, so I might be skipping it as far as recording it for the most part. So I might be doing, if it's taking too long, I might be doing objective to objective, rather recording objective to objective as I'm doing it or getting to it, rather than doing all the in-between bits, because there are a couple parts that are very frustrating, for me anyway, because the mechanics are a little, let's say the stealth system in this game isn't the best, in my opinion. But anyway, so yeah, let's get into it. And also, disclaimer, this game, certain parts here and there, does have gruesome, imagery and stuff like that. So if you're a bit sensitive to that, probably don't watch this. Or if you can stomach it, please stay and watch it. And also, I've got a fan going on in the background. We don't have central air in my apartment because it's I think too old to have it, honestly. But anyway, we don't have central air, so I've got a fan going. I'll try to reduce it in post as much as possible, but if it's still going on, there isn't much I can do about it. Anyway, start a new game. I've done a couple of tests now at this point, so hopefully this is the good one. Anyway, so Chapter 1, Pierce Investigations Agency, Boston. Boston, 1924. Edward Pierce, veteran of the First World War, drowns his memories in liquor and sleeping pills. He is now a private detective who has trouble finding a case able to lift him from his torpor. Pierce must find a new case quickly or risk losing his license. So for those who don't know, this game so it's obviously pulled from the tabletop RPG. I forgot who wrote the rules and stuff like that. Chaosium Inc. is the developer, like Wizards of the Coast is to D&D. But anyway, Sandy, I forgot his name, but his last name, but he wrote the rules and stuff like that. Great game, by the way. It's a lot of fun to play if you're into tabletop RPGs, but this is pulled from that. A lot of the skills, well, some of the skills and whatnot are implemented in this because there's only so much you could do from tabletop pen and paper sort of situation to a game like this. So yeah. If I am mad, it is mercy. May the gods pity the man who in his callousness can remain sane to the hideous end. H.P. Lovecraft. If you haven't seen my Dagon series, you should do that. A lot of background into Lovecraft and sort of his idea of the worlds that he set up. And also there's a short story from him called Call of Cthulhu. Hence, all the stuff. The music in this game is also really good. Just the atmosphere in general is really good. There are moments when I will get tense, even though I've played this before, just because that's the feeling. that you're supposed to have from a thing like this. Yeah. Gruesome bit of stuff here. I put up a poll on my Twitter. Yes, I've got a Twitter. I'll link it down in the description. But I had a poll on my Twitter account. Nobody voted or anything like that, so. But anyways, between this game or Warhammer 40k Battle Sector, and I decided to go with this one because it's one that I've been wanting to do for a while. As far as related to the genre. And for me, recording games like this is actually more fun than turn-based strategy games. Even though I love turn-based strategy games.
In my wake, pulled along. Fate inescapably draws you on.
However they did that voice, it was really good. I enjoy it a lot. As I said, I've beaten this before, so I don't want to ruin it for people if they haven't yet. So I'll keep it as clean as possible for that purpose and whatnot. Too bad you can't go in this room that I'm aware of. Oh, because it normally would open from that gate and you'd go in there. Never mind. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I've seen people have this stuff up on YouTube, so I don't think it'll be, I won't get a strike from it or anything like that.
You have been chosen. Everything has already been written. But perhaps you will attempt to change your destiny.
I hate whiskey.
And I'm going to turn that off as quickly as possible because it's probably copywritten. Alright.
I'm listening.
Are you Edward Pierce, private investigator contracted by the Wentworth Detective Agency?
That's correct.
Hello, Mr. Pierce. I'm Lucy Sherifield, in charge of investigators over at Wentworth. I'm calling because of a problem with your file. A fire has destroyed some of our documents.
Is that right?
I'm so very sorry, but I have to collect your personal information yet again.
Alright. Character creation, pretty much. The route that I went, I actually put some stuff into occultism. But occultism and medicine, I think it's because they're in yellow. There are certain items or books and things like that you can pick up that increase these by default. So as far as putting points into them, you don't have to. I did it, at least for the occultism, to kind of go a certain direction. But I'm not going to be doing that this time around because honestly, I think it's the easy route out. It's really fun, but it's definitely an easy way out. I'm going to do some strength. Obviously these two are his main things because that's sort of how it was set up. Let's also do a bit of, so I mean, I understand this skill spot hidden, but the thing though too is that stuff shine, I think, or it's like you just go around until you see a hand and you just pick up the item. So as far as spot hidden, it's sort of, unless depending on the skill, certain items just don't show up whatsoever. That's my next guess as far as that's concerned. I mean, we've got 6 points. We could put 1 more into strength and then 1 into these. Let's just do that. That's fine. And also, I think this game was originally made for console. I played this on Xbox, and it ran pretty good and stuff like that as far as whatnot goes. Also, this was Unreal Engine back in 2018 when it was released. So, for it holding up now, it's a bit old. So some of the animations might look a little rough. There might be some desyncing issues. I think it's more for the port than anything else. So,
Thank you
yeah.
for this information, Mr. Pierce. Our files will soon be up to date. And on a related matter, may I raise a sensitive question?
What's wrong?
As you know, we wish to closely monitor the progress of our contractors. And it would seem you've been accepting fewer new cases.
Work is scarce.
Mr. Pierce, you know as well as I do, there's never been more investigative work than now.
But are those cases worth it?
They're worth not losing your license. Show yourself worthy of the Wentworth Detective Agency, and we might keep you on the payroll. Mr. Pierce, are you still...
I'm coming.
Sir, I came here on the advice of a person whom I hold in high esteem, and I must say that I expected anything but a drunkard's lair.
You're free to leave anytime, sir.
Do you know to whom you speak?
Stephen Webster, industrialist and art collector. All of Boston knows you.
Tell me, Mr. Pierce, are you capable of handling a new case, or are you simply a deadbeat inebriate?
If you come to me, it means you're desperate.
Nobody believes me. They take me for an old fool. Sarah, my little girl, she is dead. Even you must know of her. She was Sarah Hawkins.
The painter? Yes, everyone knows her work.
The police accuse her of killing her family. They all died in a fire. Sarah, her husband, and Simon, my grandson.
I can't do anything for a woman who is already dead.
Find out the truth. They say she was mad, but I know that's a lie. She would never have done such a thing.
But if you have no proof...
I've brought all that I have. Look. I want you to look carefully at this painting. Tell me all the assumptions that come to mind.
What am I supposed to find?
Tell me if this is the work of madness. Or if, on the contrary, you manage to detect some logic, a rationality to follow so that I may understand it.
Is that all you want from me?
Yes, please.
All right. I'll look at your picture. That's all you've got? The painting?
I placed a file on your desk. It contains everything I have on the affair.
And, yeah, I don't... It wasn't until now that I realized that, the frickin' audios from the cutscenes to, like, in-game, character talking and stuff like that is very different. I guess when you're thinking in your head, your voice is a lot deeper and just pull, you know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, and also the lip syncing, or as far as, like, the mouth and stuff like that when it's talking, it's a bit sketchy, it's a bit dodgy, but it is what it is.
A warehouse on Darkwater. Some sketches of the Hawkins family. Rather thin.
A file on the Sarah Hawkins case. A shipping label. Some of it is unreadable, but I can make out part of the address. Warehouse 36, Darkwater. The police report, it says that the fire started in the dining room and claimed the whole family. The police decided on a domestic accident, but they nevertheless insist on Sarah Hawkins' mental frailty. Why? Oh, frailty. Sorry, dyslexia kicking in. It's awesome. Oppress cutting. An article written about the marriage of Sarah and Charles Hawkins, a businessman from the island of Darkwater. They live a reclusive life there with their only son, Simon. Okay. Hit J for our journal. Oh, yeah, sanity. Yes. So, mental trauma. Last time I played, I got all of them, but this one, I still don't know what this one choice-wise does. I have a theory, but I'll get to it when we get to it. So, sanity. So this is our sanity meter. It starts here and then starts dropping the more crazy shit that we see or encounter. Right now we're stable, confident in your abilities in your Cartesian mind. You conduct your investigation by sticking to the facts, your convictions, and your perception of reality. Your conclusions are logical and reliable. Nightmares. Edward Pierce is a veteran of the First World War, where he took part in the Meuse-Argonne offensive. He is one of the few survivors of the Lost Battalion. Great Septon song, by the way. I think that's what it was. Anyway, American units that suffered heavy losses from enemy and allied artillery fire, forced to hold their position for several days, surrounded by the bodies of their fallen comrades, without food or medical supplies. The soldiers were considered as lost, but their fellow countrymen. By their fellow countrymen. Pierce is traumatized by these events. He consumes sleeping pills and liquor to ward off the nightmares that haunt him. Yeah, so he's one of the few survivors, not the only survivor, like some of the other stories in this sort of scenario could happen. Pierce Investigations Agency. My private detective agency, contracted to the Wentworth Detective Agency. After the Great War, I decided to set up in Boston, where there's no lack of work for guys like me. One small-time case follows the other, adultery settled scores, disappearances that are not actually disappearances. The old office couch is less comfortable than a real bed, and I should probably get rid of these empty bottles, but this place is mine for the moment. And then occults, this is where the information and memorabilia and stuff like that you can get goes. Clues, and then whatever you pick up as far as those go here. Inventory. He has a lighter. Inspect F, and then rotate. But yeah, Lost Battalion. I don't know if that's October 7th or the 10th of July, 1918. Hey, the day after my birthday, but frickin' like that would have been 77 years before I was born. Long time.
What's this symbol on the man's chest? It's as if Sarah Hawkins breathed a message into it.
So, Mr. Pierce, what do you make of these elements?
So, depending on your skills and whatnot, some dialogue options show up. And depending on the skill level, depends obviously if you succeed or not. But yeah. So let's start with the warehouse.
The sender's label mentions Warehouse 36.
That's right. It came with Sarah's last painting.
And you think your daughter could have been the sender?
That is what you must find out. Go to Darkwater. Find Warehouse 36.
Where does she live?
Darkwater. Never heard of the place. Where is that?
It's a small, remote island off the coast of Boston. Sarah lived there with her son and her husband.
I suppose you want to ship me off there.
Darkwater holds the secret regarding my daughter, Mr. Pierce. You must uncover it.
You should take this painting lightly. Oh, you shouldn't take this painting lightly. I don't know what this, I think when you find different clues and, your investigation kind of work happens, depends if certain dialogue options are locked behind those choices or not, stuff like that.
The meaning could be exactly as it appears. I think your daughter is sending you a message.
That's what I believe, too. It was 3 months ago that I received the call from the police telling me of my daughter's death. And yet a short while after, this painting was delivered to my home. The painting is linked to this case, can't you see? You must find the meaning behind all this.
I read about her mental fragility in the police report.
You must tell me if what the police suggest about the mental state of your daughter is true.
No. Sarah had visions. Everyone knew that. She never would have hurt a fly. She only thought she saw things.
Saw things? What do you mean by that?
I never knew what she meant by that. My daughter was an enigmatic figure, Mr. Pierce. You must find out the truth about her life and death.
So yeah, as far as headphone users, I don't know if it's the bass or anything like that, but the voices are extremely deep, so there are some words that are kind of hard to pick up and stuff like that. So yeah, but actually that's even worse for phone users then.
Her husband was a big deal on the island, but the police are sticking to the accident theory. Though they mentioned Sarah's mental state was fragile. I believe you are right, sir. This case is not as simple as it appears.
I am aware of that. I believe there is more to this case than just an accident.
So yeah, on as far as the skill goes, it shows investigation and then / like professional. That's the rank of the skill. So when you get, so there are 5 ranks in each skill. Whenever you get to a rank, it increases your use for it, or knowledge and stuff like that of that particular skill. That's all the information I need.
I'm beginning to understand.
I'm willing to do anything for my daughter to recover her honor.
Quiet down. I'm on your side. Let's sum things up. An artist dies with her family in a house fire. Your only clue is a sort of promontory painting sent from Darkwater right before her death.
Correct. And the rumors about her supposed folly.
Which you don't totally deny.
Find that warehouse. Find out the truth regarding Sarah Hawkins' death. You'll be handsomely compensated.
All right, I'll take the case. I'll go to Darkwater and look into the death of your daughter.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. I didn't expect any less coming from a man in your situation.
Something's queer. But it's not like I have a choice.
Alright.
Darkwater. I think I've got a book on the North Atlantic. I'll no doubt find some information on this island in there.
Alright, so we got some more journal things. And also, yeah, there's inhabitants, so there's going to be a lot of profile reading and things like that. And whatnot. So Stephen Webster, age 63, occupation businessman. A wealthy businessman, well respected in the Boston area. Stephen Webster came to see me in order that I investigate the death of his only daughter, Sarah Hawkins. The man accepts neither refusals nor inconvenient truths. He is ready to do anything to prove that his daughter was not mad. And when you get more information about certain people, it updates the profile, which is pretty cool. I like that. Rather than having multiple profiles on the same person, even though, it's, yeah. And also shows whether they're deceased or not. Cool beard, dude. Charles Hawkins, age 41, occupation ship owner. Charles Hawkins was a local celebrity in Darkwater, the heir of a ship owner family. He used to travel a lot. He met Sarah Hawkins during a trip in Paris. They fell in love, got married, and Hawkins took her to the remote island of Darkwater. They had a child named Simon and lived a very secretive life. Sarah Hawkins, age 33, occupation painter. Sarah Hawkins, a painter known for her tortured artistic universe. She was worshipped for the strangeness of her work and the rarity of her public appearances. I seem to remember that she once said, "I paint what my dreams whisper to me." Her marriage to Charles Hawkins years ago surprised high society columnists. What? A wealthy Boston heiress, known for her party-going, chooses to follow her new husband and live as a recluse on the island of Darkwater. She disappears from the front pages of newspapers, and nobody heard any more about her. Even her death in a fire remained a secret. Only her father, Stephen Webster, continue seeking the truth. I think that's what I meant to say. So, going back to it and stuff like that, and learning more about Lovecraft in general and whatnot, I think they kind of made Sarah Hawkins like a, sort of a reincarnated state or, idea of Lovecraft. Because he was, worshipped for the strangeness of his work, and he was rarely seen in public for the most part. There are times when he did go out and, social gatherings, not big ones though. And also a lot of his horrors, like night gaunts and certain other creatures and ideas, came from his dreams that he's had and stuff like that. And also a writer known for his tortured, universe and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. Never thought about that until now. Simon, age 11, occupation schoolboy, only son of Sarah and Charles Hawkins. He died in the fire that claimed his whole family. Occult. Oh, yeah. The painting. Art of Sarah Hawkins. Intuitive and visionary artist for some, overpriced imposter for others. Sarah Hawkins leaves nobody indifferent. This mysterious and reserved painter offers strange images with violent colors and wild strokes to the world. If her paintings are testimony to her visions of the world, then the world of Sarah Hawkins is a portal open to other dimensions. Extract from the notebook of Edward Pierce, private detective. Close. Chapter 1, painting. This painting depicts a monstrous silhouette threatening a woman and child. Flames can be made out in the background. Stephen Webster, the father of Sarah Hawkins, thinks that it is linked to the death of his daughter. Alright. So, objectives. Leave for Darkwater, and secondary objectives. Find out about Darkwater. In every scene that you'll have, you will, find stuff.
I wonder why I still take these things.
To kind of fill you in to the world as far as Edward Pierce's living and other people's way of life and things like that. It's a cool idea. It rewards exploration. The doctors prescribed them when I returned from the war. They swore that they would put an end to the nightmares. But for a while now, their effect has been wearing off. I hate mornings. Anyway,
I should get rid of all this stuff.
Yeah, so it looks like... Oh, I wish there was a zoom function, but there isn't. That's Boston. Certain... just... prohibition, yes, that was a thing that happened around this time. I don't quite recall when it ended. But anyway, let's read some books.
Natural sciences, linguistics, archaeology.
Ugh.
Darkwater is off the coast of Boston, but I've never heard of it. According to this book, it was often mentioned during whale hunting times at the end of the 19th century, but it seems to have been shunned since then.
Darkwater Island has been inhabited since the 14th century and is still rich with the many memories left by its lost tribes. But don't let the romanticism of these moving evidences of such naive and primitive beliefs fool you into forgetting how violent their gods were. A gigantic creature still ornates the walls of long-abandoned caves. Was it a sea or a dream god? No one knows, but today's inhabitants, the sons and daughters of the proud whale hunters, still remember the mysterious and tumultuous story of their small land off the coasts of Massachusetts.
All I have to do is go to the port. I just hope that I can find a boat able to take me to dark water.
Just a minute, Pierce. Hold your horses.
A good old story of blackmail in a speakeasy.
Case solved. The bar owner who hired me didn't like the way I closed the case. But when you're already outside the law, there's not a lot one can do against a private detective who's got proof against you. Whatever the fuck that means. Let's look. Places. Island of Darkwater. It would seem that the world has forgotten the very existence of this isolated rock off the coast of Boston. It is a small, inhospitable island, whose coastline is made up of steep cliffs and sharp reefs, and with only one outlet to the sea. It is mainly inhabited by the descendants of whalers who set up a supply post there in the 1800s. It was hit severely by the collapse of its activity. I think that the only venture on the island that is still profitable is its medical institution. Inventory. Knowledge. Sleeping pills. Atlas of Atlantic Islands. And the salt case. Alright. I wish there was a mute button with this program, but there isn't. Oh, right. I forgot. I'm using a new editing software, so, well, recording stuff and whatnot. It's the one that I used before picking up OBS. It was the one when I was recording my Shadowrun Returns, and up to, honestly, I think since I started streaming was when I kind of jumped onto OBS. But so far, I think the quality and the way that it's set up, I like Marilla's action a bit more. Just so people are aware, if sounds seem a bit different and the editing's a bit different, it's not going to be significantly different, but enough.
Married woman runs off with her girlfriend. The husband couldn't understand it.
Yep. Back then, same-sex relationships kind of wasn't a thing. The husband never understood that his wife had left him. He kept on calling me weeks after the investigation had been closed. Yeah, so it's a lot of repeating itself, but I'm one of those people that don't like having the exclamation marks or markers next to newfound items. I don't have OCD. Well, I have a small thing of OCD in particularness. Actually, I've never noticed. Is there anything back here? I don't think so. Yeah, so that painting's just going to sit in your office till the end of time.
Holding your position and obeying orders. That isn't courage.
I'm wondering if this is like a real picture of it, but unless you look closely, Pierce's face probably isn't on it. 77th Division, the 2nd Platoon.
I used to be an avid reader.
Until what?
The Wentworth Agency doesn't attract top-notch cases.
A certificate of membership, Wentworth Agency, United States Detective Agency of Boston, Massachusetts. Upon the blah 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 of whatever and yeah, stuff. I mean, that cursive isn't hard to read, but I don't care to read it. Wow. First time playing this game, though, this far with these headphones, I'm going to be noticing a lot of new sounds that I didn't hear on my Xbox. The Learning of Medicine, Volume 1, a dense work aimed at interns and young practitioners. This first volume lists all illnesses known in the civilized world. It details the symptoms and suitable treatment. So it increased our medical progress by 1. And obviously, as these, as the skills increase, the more points you have to put into increasing them. So, as far as, all right, the case, anything new? So that's just objective stuff. Okay. So as far as the skills go, after character creation, you can't put points into medicine or occultism. That's kind of why they give you the option to do it at the beginning. So if you want to be really good at medicine right off the bat, you could put all of your points into it, you know, stuff like that. There are different builds, more or less, of, you know, how you want to do it and stuff like that. But yeah, that's why they're grayed out. You can't increase them whatsoever. The medicine and occult skills can only be improved by objects discovered in the environment. But there's a particular section where I want my strength to be good. I don't know how high my strength needs to be to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm guessing at least 4. Mayhaps. Anyway. Let's get out of here. I'm thinking of doing this chapter by chapter, but if I remember right, this is like the first chapter. When we leave here, it's the first chapter. How long has it been going on for?